Hello, everybody. Just get ourselves adjusted here. You know, I hear other people say that on their videos when they go live, and I go, "Well, be more prepared." Yeah. What am I doing? Yeah, okay. Shouldn't live in if you live in glass houses, don't throw stones or something to that effect. Okay, so Laura's here. Hi, Laura. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Patsy. Uh, hi, Laura Miller. So we'll just give everybody a few seconds.
It's Father's Day today.
Yes, it is. Happy Father's Day to all of you mothers that have fathers or married to a father or whatever. We don't have fathers anymore. Ours are gone. Hi, Jeannie. Hi, Glenna. So I'm assuming that everybody can see us and hear us okay. If you can't, let us know. But I think you should be able to. Hi, Donna. And we're just waiting for a few more people to join us before we get into things here. Been having a horrendous day with my 3D printers. I'll tell you more about that in a bit. Hi, Chris. And what's Walter been up to today? We'll get to that. Probably nothing. Screwing around, staring. I don't know what you find on your computer.
I have things I need to do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh.
Maintenance.
Like go out and look at knobs.
Yeah.
Take pictures of knobs. There's a story. Hi, Debbie. Thanks, Laura. Hi, Barb. Okay, well, other people will come to join us soon. Don't forget to hit that like button. I will be reminding you. So it's Debbie, but it's really B. Okay. Hi, B. I'll probably screw that up. I don't understand. Sometimes people use different names. I don't know why. You're safe here. You don't have to worry about anything. But anyways, that's okay. I'll try to remember B to call you Debbie to call you B. Whatever. Okay, before we go on, let's talk about what Walter's been working on. Nothing.
I'm still doing my shorts. I got to get them done for tomorrow's class. Otherwise, so I'm screwed.
Oh, why?
Well, then I'll be behind again. So.
Well, so
actually, I have to admit, this project's not been really
the top
motivating.
priority.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yes, for sure. But then you never work on anything too fast.
No, I'm not too speedy at anything.
Got to be so. And
yeah, Brenda, this is a shirt I made. That's a shirt Steve bought somewhere.
yeah, this isn't one of Walter's shirts. This one I bought a couple of years ago somewhere. I don't know where. With that. Well, what was I going to say about your okay, so after this class, has Brendan got any more planned?
No, and I'm not too keen on doing it. I got a bunch of shirts I still need to
know.
do and stuff like that, and I'm not too keen on doing another new class right now.
Well, do you think he's keen on doing another class?
Right? I don't think so. He's been kind of not.
I think he's pooped out.
Yeah.
He's been going steady for like, when was the first class? He's been doing this for almost what?
And not only that, he does a whole pile of sewing himself because he's gotten into doing this drag show thing.
And also making
and
dresses.
He does like making dresses and all kinds. And he doesn't do it just for himself. He does it for everybody else that's performing with him.
Oh.
So.
Okay. Yeah, well, when you got a talent, I guess everybody wants you to do something for them. Oh, I get it now, Debbie. Brett B. I see what you mean. Okay, you share an account. I get it. So Debbie's your daughter, and you're B. All right, we got that straight now. Okay, so that's all you've been up to is diddly squat. Well, you were out. We've been. When I said Walter was out taking pictures of knobs.
I was looking at other people's knobs.
He has spent most of the Okay, didn't want to go there, but we did. And he's got pictures of them too. Well, we've been going through this whole house thing, right? The doors and the windows and everything, and he second guesses every decision he makes about stuff. I just go, yeah, looks good, fine, get it, whatever. And now we've got the doors selected. We think we've got the transom done. They've given us a price. There's still some more fine tuning to do, but now we're looking at door handles and whatnot. So everything we like is discontinued. And then, well, we've decided the color will be black handle, door handle. You would think this would be an easy decision. I mean, you've got your silver, you've got your gold, you've got your brass, you've got your nickel, you've got your black, you got your white. So I mean, like, you know, and then the various styles. So I thought we'd already decided on style, and
No, no, I know, but I kind of went and saw what they looked like in real life
okay.
because all I saw is a picture.
Well, in the big scheme of things, a
Doesn't
handle
really
is a
matter.
handle.
Handles, yeah.
Like I'm sure we can live with whatever we get.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be bad. But anyways, oh, Brendan says, Walter, I always love your shirts. Didn't want to leave Steve out. Oh, okay. It's okay. I'm used to it. I'm not hurt. I'm not upset. If you want to give all your attention to him, I don't know why. I question your sanity, but that's okay. Not to worry. Hi, Cheryl. Loris is wandering up and down the street looking at people's knobs. Walter, no, he decided to go to, where'd you go? Home Depot?
Yeah, I went to Home Depot and looked at their knobs.
Well, that's why we call it the Homo Depot. So whatever. Yeah, so we've got, now they came in at a less than I figured for what doing, because we have
Well, actually, I thought it was
windows.
a little bit more, but the specialty windows were actually a little more than I expected. But
Well, yeah, we have these quarter moon windows over top of our main windows in our living room. And they're not very big, but they're a special order item, of course. And they're $4,300 each. There's two of them. So that's more expensive than the doors that we've ordered with the glass inserts and everything like that.
well,
But
now mind you, they say they're giving us this 20% discount.
yeah, and
So
why are they giving us a 20% discount? Did
I
they
have no
explain
idea.
that?
They didn't
Why, just
explain.
because they like our looks?
Yeah.
What?
I
Yeah,
think they give everybody.
I think everybody
gets
it.
the 20% discount.
Yeah, it means that basically this is their regular price. They're just
Yeah.
make it seem like you're getting a bargain.
Yeah, like this other window company in our area has buy 2 windows and get the third free. Well, if you buy 2 at regular price and you get the third
Yeah, well, that means their price of each of the windows individually are
Yeah.
escalated. But anyways, for everything that we're having done, I figured it was going to probably run us about 25,000. Well, it's 18. So bonus.
and that includes tax. So
Yeah, so and installation. It does include installation.
yes, it does.
Okay. Now it doesn't include our handles, does it?
No, it doesn't include their knobs.
And they'll be pricey because
Because
only have
we
the
never
best.
picked cheap knobs. Because I noticed that on the prices at Home Depot, the one that we sort of liked is one of the more expensive ones. So.
Of course.
But
We
it's not. I mean, in the long run,
But it's only a couple $100.
a long run scheme of things. Long run scheme of things, it's not that much more expensive. So
No, but anyways, now they're telling us that it will take what 12.
no, it'll be anywhere from 8 to 16 weeks before we get it.
So I'm figuring it's going to be more like 16 weeks because this is busy season. But that's okay. We're not in any terrible rush.
Except I'd rather not have them put in December.
Well, I don't want to put it in the December. No, like, geez. Would they?
Yeah, they can. Kathy down the road, the lady who lives 2 doors down, had some put in right in the middle of January.
Okay, a bit frosty in the house. They put up plastic or something to keep heat in? Or
I don't know.
Jeez, I don't know. Well, anyways, if it takes them a little longer, that means that's just more time we have to assemble our funds. I got the hiccups for all of this.
Yeah, Patsy says she has champagne taste in the beer diet as well.
Yeah, that's kind of us
yeah,
too.
us too. I've always been that way. I'll see a dozen things in a store, and then the one item that I like happens to be the most expensive.
Yeah. Hi, Fidel. Yeah, and Laura says 20% off means you're getting the pre-pandemic price. Yeah, probably. Who knows? How, you don't know. In fact, and they're not the only ones either. Like right now, our government has been looking into getting us an add-on to our healthcare plans that'll cover dental. Well, they just announced though that ooh, this is going to be more money than they thought. Yeah, because the one job you want in life, really, if you want to make lots of money, is be a dentist, because they just make it. Walter had to get his temporary filling dropped
Yeah,
out.
I had a crown, tooth with a crown on it, and supposedly I needed a root canal. So I had the root canal done, and that was expensive. That was $1,100. Now, mind you, my insurance covered about half of it. And then they put in a temporary filling. They don't do fillings at the root canal place. You have to go to your regular dentist for the filling.
Walter's been practically living at the
So
dental
I'm thinking,
specialist.
okay, fine. It's just a normal filling or whatever it costs for a filling. They're expensive enough as it is, but they're not, I think. But no, I get out of there. It's called something kind of restoration or something like that. So that little dinky filling that took 5 minutes to do, and they didn't have to freeze me because the tooth is already dead, and it came to $383.
And the insurance only covered
And only
50% of that
covered 50%
instead
of
of
that.
85%,
Yeah,
which it usually does, because that's considered a
special item.
special, probably cosmetic. Yeah, sure, cosmetic. There's a hole in my tooth, like I need it filled. Cripes, I could have done it for you. I've got some silly putty to.
I mean, the cheap guy was a dental surgeon pulling my root out because actually, I didn't realize it. I thought he originally quoted me $300 to do that, and he charged $235.
Oh, geez.
So he's cheap compared to the rest of them.
Oh, well, the tooth fairy. That's what we call our dentist. He's the tooth fairy for obvious reasons, as he flits in, flits out, flits all around. He he has expensive tastes too. He's got a nice home, he's got a nice car, he's got yeah,
A very successful dental practice.
oh, very successful dental practice. Yeah, he is high scale out of it all. So, but they're all like that. I mean, that's what I said. In another life, I should come back as a dentist. Really, make lots of money. And the thing is, with our dentist, he doesn't do any of the work. He's got people do it all for him.
Yeah, dental hygienist, dental everything. The only
Yeah,
thing they do is dentist pokes around in your mouth for a minute. Yeah, he'll do the fillings and the extractions, but
that's it.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody else does stuff. He sends you to the specialist. So, anyways, yeah. So Walter's been spending a lot of time at the dentist.
Hopefully that'll be the end of it right now for a bit.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm just worried about my jaw. I crack. I don't know why, but I crack. And I don't like cracking. But anyways, I told the dentist when I went in about that, and he's talking, well, there looks like you might grind your teeth. I said, I don't grind my teeth. He says, well, there's a little bit of, looks kind of like there's a little bit of wear. Can't really tell, but, we'll wait a while. If it's really bothering you or whatever, then we'll look at, fitting you up with a night thing, a mouth guard or something like that. That's probably $1,000 because it'll be custom. It'll have his name on it or something. I don't know. Well, who knows? We'll wait and see. Hi Joe. Hi Margaret. Hi Brett. Margaret says, I hope you don't get sticker shock in cost. I put in a new job and that cost a lot.
Not sure what you mean.
Not sure, Margaret, what you mean. I put in a new job and that cost a lot. Something's lost in the translation, Margaret. Maybe you can fill us in. Joe says, not throw the throat of my fingers in somebody else's mouth. You pay me enough, I'll stick anything anywhere. I mean, really? I mean, crepes. Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to do that all day long either. But, there are fringe benefits there. You wear gloves.
No, I suppose you have to put up with people with bad breath too.
Yeah, but they all wear masks.
Yeah, that's true.
They were wearing masks before COVID.
Yeah.
Minty fresh. But whatever. Every job has its drawbacks. Not dental. Okay, so I've been working on something here. Now I'm going to put it up on the screen if I can figure that out. And here it is. And I just finished this afternoon. And there it is. It is an in the hoop applique project, done in pieces. It's a table runner. It's called Feather Jungle, and it's by Sweet Pea designs. They have a lot of embroidery designs. They do a lot of really interesting in the hoop designs. And you had to make this. There were 5 pieces in this. Each piece took half a day, pretty much, to make. This was a fairly complicated project, but I think it turned out pretty good. Like I said, I got it finished today, the last panel done, and I sewed it all together, and it's got a backing on it and everything. And in real life, it looks really nice on our kitchen table. It's very, very pretty. This is not something, though, that I would use as a, if I was serving dinner and putting dishes on it or anything, because you could wash it, but I don't think I want to. So I don't want anything on it. But anyways, I'm kind of pleased with the way it turned out. As I said, it took a lot of time to do. So that's my latest project. And I'm going to try an experiment tomorrow. Remember that table runner that I made from the bits and pieces left over from the quilt from hell? And then I said, well, I'd appliqué 3 things in the center, and I didn't do a blanket stitch around it because it's raw edge. I just did a straight stitch and thought later, probably should have done an applique, like a regular applique stitch, like a blanket stitch, because, fraying. And I had thought about giving it as a gift, but I won't give that to somebody if it's going to fray. Well, I was watching a video yesterday, and there's a lady, it was on the Quilt Show. I'm a subscriber to them. It's a great program. It's online, but if you remember, you can watch their videos that they put up when they do full television production shows every other week. And they put it on YouTube, but you can't get it unless you are a member. You can see bits and pieces, but the whole thing, you have to be a member to have access to it. And I am. Well, they were interviewing this lady that does majorly into applique, and she does raw edge. And she was talking about something. She said at one point she really hated doing free motion quilting around her applique pieces after she finished a thing. Yeah, most of the time she's making like wall hanging type things as opposed to full-blown quilts. But she said, because you've got the applique on there, you can't really quilt over top of the applique because that would be a mess. So she just hated having to go around them and do things. And she claims she's not a very good free motion quilter. So she decided one day, what the heck? It was all layered up. She got the appliques were on and everything. Why not, instead of before putting the appliques on, quilt it? Quilt the whole piece. You've got your sandwich, you quilt it all, and then add your appliques. Now, she said the problem with that, though, is you will see all your applique stitches on the other side of the wall hanging because it'll go right through, right? But she said she didn't mind that look. And she kind of showed it, and it actually added to her free motion quilting on the back of it. Plus, it is the back, so people don't usually look at the back that closely. But then she said she also used decorative stitches around it. So it kind of looks like it's supposed to be there. The design, well, is supposed to be there. So I got thinking, I wonder what it would look like on that table runner I made if I did something like that. Either just do a blanket stitch, or I'll look at my decorative stitches and maybe find one that I think looks good. Like I know I have one that looks like little leaves that might go around kind of nice. I'm going to have to make a little practice sandwich and see what that looks like. But I'm thinking, if that doesn't look too bad, then this table runner could be given as a gift. Because there's nothing else wrong with it. It's just I don't want it to fray if they wash it or something like that. So I'll see. And if it doesn't work out, then it's fine. It's no big loss. I mean, I have it here at home. Will I ever use it? Probably not. I might hang it up on my front doors, for Canada Day. But I thought I'll give it a try and see what happens. So that's my plans tomorrow. That and my 3D printers. I have spent the last 2 days trying to get my newest printer to work properly. Long story short, I have pretty much replaced every part on the beast. There's one part left to go. I just can't get it to work properly, and I don't know why not. So, yeah, I hate it when these things go like that. I have had a lot of problems with that printer, though. That is my newest printer, and it's the one I've had the most problems with since day one. I think I bought a lemon. But whatever. I am tempted to buy
Yeah.
another one.
The messages up on.
Oh, yeah, fine. Well, whatever. I'm sorry, Jake. What, are you co-director or something? Producer? Walter wants me to put things up here so we can see them on the screen. So I'm just, you guys won't see this. This is for us to see. Okay, what are people saying? Because we couldn't see what you were saying. You can buy the dental guards in the drugstore in the States. Very inexpensive. Helps with grinding teeth. Also, cracking could be TMJ. Yeah, I looked that up.
What's TMJ?
Well, it's something to do with the muscle or something that's or in the layers or something. Meniscus or something, and it can go out of alignment. And sometimes it happens to older people, apparently. And you either just learn to live with it. If it's not giving any pain or causing any problems with eating or anything like that, then they just say like, leave it, or you can do little exercises where you can rub around here and you can go and all this kind of stuff. It's kind of therapy. Worst case scenario, they can operate, but that's in extreme cases with it. I forget what TMJ stands for. It's some big long series of words, kind of a deal. But actually, this dental guard idea, buying one over the counter or something, just to try.
Yeah.
That might not be a bad idea, just to see how that works out. Hi, Colleen. Thank you for the lovely comments about the table runner. Yeah, I think it's gorgeous. It worked out. The pattern wasn't expensive. It was on sale. Regular price was American $30, but they had a special on 50% off. So I latched onto it. So it cost me $15 American. It worked out to $20 Canadian, which is okay for something like that. They're usually fairly expensive because there's a lot of color changes, a lot of elements in the design. So yeah. Joe says in reference to mouthguard, our health insurance calls it durable medical equipment. It's paid for most of it. I live in Wisconsin, USA. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I have to look at what we have. I know our dental is separate from our medical. Our medical's all covered, but with the exception of drugs and some equipment. And I have a separate plan that covers medical equipment too. So I'd have to read what it says in my plan, or what else? Or I don't know if it's covered in our dental plan. I'll have to take a look.
I have to take a look.
Might be one of those things that drops off in the middle.
Yeah, well, that could be too. So everybody's loving the table runner. Laura says that makes me want to take up machine embroidery. Well, yeah, I love machine embroidery. But there's one thing about machine embroidery. You have to be patient because that, like I said, that one took, when did I start that?
Well, it's a lot faster than hand embroidery.
Oh, well, yeah. But that one took, I think I started it Tuesday of this past week, and I finished it today. Now, I'm not working on it all day long, but a good part of the day. Well, I've been working on it every morning for the last 5 days, basically. So from about 7 o'clock in the morning until about noon or into the afternoon, because each one of those designs comes up on there and says it's going to take you about 90 minutes to 103 minutes. But that's if your machine wasn't stopping so you could change threads. If it was all like just and cutting fabric, because you lay down pieces of fabric, it shows you where to lay it down. It sews what's called a placement line. Then you throw down a piece of fabric. Then it does a tack down. Then you have to take a pair of special scissors and you cut that all away near the stitching. And then it does some more things with it. And it's all over the place. So all of those stops and starts eat into your time. So yeah, the machine might be saying it's going to take 90 minutes, but you always have to, on any embroidery project, double it. At least double it, if not more, for it. So you have to have patience and realize this is not a speedy thing. So you're not just going to whip up something on that scale the night before you're going off to a party and you want to give it as a gift. Okay, you need to do some planning for this kind of thing. But it is fun, but it can also get boring because you sit there, watch the machine. And some pieces take 10 minutes, 15 minutes to sew out, depending. So each one. But yeah, there's a lot you can do with it. Brett says it looks like your machine is working great. Yeah, knock wood.
Yeah, well, yeah, his sewing machine is working great, but it's his 3D printer that he is having a problem with.
Yes, 3D printers I'm having a problem with. My sewing machines are fine. Thank goodness. Sweet Pea has great designs. Yeah, the very first Sweet Pea design, though, that I got at one point in time, and I don't even remember what it was, I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed with the instructions. But since then, I've had a couple of Sweet Pea designs, and I guess maybe that was just a fluke because the other ones I've had have been great. The instructions have been very clear, very detailed, and lots of pictures to show you each step of the way, and you really need the pictures. But if you're going to get into this kind of thing, I don't suggest doing what I just did as your first project because you will be lost. I can tell you that. I meant to say a new door with glass for light. Sorry, loose fingers. Oh, okay.
She said earlier.
It was about job.
Oh yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
now.
we're good. We don't have glass in our doors right now, but we're planning to get glass in our doors in the new doors.
There's what TMJ means.
Okay.
Joe says temporal mandibular something joint disease disorder. Disease disorder. I hope not.
Yeah, Joe, it works if our system's a bit weird, but compared probably your medical insurance covers a lot of different things, but we don't actually have medical insurance here. We have government covers everything, but certain things that won't cover, like if you need like I need compression socks, so they don't cover that, but my other health insurance covers that. So if it's prescribed by a doctor, we might get it paid for, but if it's prescribed by a dentist, we might get it paid for.
Because our stuff doesn't cover, like the government doesn't cover dental. That's what they're looking into now because...
Yeah, I mean, if you have to go in for heart surgery, that's all covered. You don't have to worry about any of that. There's no price on that, right? So, but if you need
okay, B, see
a
you
leg
later.
brace or something like that, or compression socks, then we have to pay extra for that unless we have separate medical insurance for that, and it's for and so that gets covered in that. But then we also have separate dental insurance for just dental, and that has to be paid by each individual, or usually an employer pays for that.
Yeah, if you're working. We have a third party plan right now because neither one of us are working. We're retired, so we don't have anybody to pay for it for us. So anyways, Barb says you didn't get the seniors rate. I don't think they have a seniors rate. Yeah, believe me.
No, not yet. He isn't officially a senior till next month.
Well, depends on who's given the discount.
Yeah, I know. Some places give you a discount at 55 and over, but some other places at 65 and over. So you got another month to go.
Bless you for bringing that up. Really. Yeah. So what else has been going on here? The airplane quilt, we delivered that to our friend. He's still in the hospital, so his other half took it into him, but he did a little video when he gave it to him, and our friend did not look good. He was sitting up in a wheelchair. He had his ventilator thing and what on, and I don't know. He just Norm, this is this friend of ours, said to him, so see, Stephen Walter gave you this. Stephen made it. It's got airplanes on it. He was sort of talking to our friend like he's a bit of a child. You know how you talk to small children. And he said to him, now, what do you say? And this whole bit. And I don't know. I don't think he's completely mentally there. I mean, which is not a surprise because he had a brain bleed and everything. But the way Norm was talking about it, it sounded like
he's raring to go and ready to get out.
Yeah. So maybe it was just the whole, you get disoriented in the hospital. I don't know. but it didn't look to me like he's coming out of there like
anytime soon.
anytime soon. So,
And he's
anyways,
still in the ICU
yeah,
too.
he's still in ICU. Yeah. Um, but anyways, he seemed to be happy. I hope it brought him some happiness and whatnot for it. And well, I'm sure it did. But you know, we expect him to do get out of his chair and jump up and down. You know, no, I don't think so. Although that would have been really nice if he could have. But no, so yeah. Anyways, it was there for him, and I'm glad that he got it. I did say to Norm, do not leave this at the hospital because it'll go missing. I mean, things do in the hospitals for one reason or another. So no. And he said, no, he wouldn't. He said, take it over and show it to him, and then he'd bring it back home and put it on his bed. So I said, okay, that's great. But anyway, sent us a video of it, which was kind of nice to see. Okay, so let's see what's going on. All right, International Stitch Marathon. This is my little plug for that, July 22nd, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern and comparable times wherever you are in the world. We've got more people who are co-hosting. Maybe it'll just be the co-host that'll be there. I don't know. But anyways, and I've been talking about it on my vlog and on Idiot Quilter and on So Chatty and introducing you to some of the other co-hosts in that as well. So yeah, that's July the 22nd. So if you're free, and that is a Friday. It is not a weekend. It is a Friday. And it's 12 hours long. You don't have to come for the whole thing. It's a drop-in kind of a deal. Work on whatever you want to work on kind of a deal. I'm still not clear whether or not there are some games or something else special in this. I am not the organizer, so I really don't know more than what I've already told you. But it's an opportunity, you know, I know that a lot of you like to sew with other people, work on projects through a Zoom kind of a thing. So it's there, it's available, it's free. So what can I say? Okay. We already talked about doors and windows. So last week, now the main point of today is Pride Month, as you know. We got asked a question last week, and we kind of put, I forget who asked it. It wasn't Patsy, was it? Patsy, did you ask us about our coming out stories? Somebody did. And so sorry, I don't remember who it was, but at the time I kind of said, ooh, well, that's kind of a big story and it's not something we can handle like in 2 minutes or less. So we thought we would tell you about it. Both of our stories are a little different. And first of all, I want to say, you hear a lot of things about people coming out. It seems to be the thing these days. You've got athletes who are coming out, and you've got celebrities who are coming out, and everybody's coming out. And you may or may not understand what that is. And when you hear about it on the news, they really play a disservice with it because they make it sound like this is a one-off event. It's something that you do.
Laura asked us.
Oh, it was Laura. Okay. Thanks, Laura. And no, it's not. It's different for everybody. And what it means is coming out of the closet. And I'm sure you've heard the expression. Basically, as gay people in our generation, especially. The new generation,
yeah, it's different for
it's
new
different
people.
for them now. But for us, everything had to be hidden. It had to be kept underground for obvious reasons. In our country, at the time when we were growing up, we did not have a constitution in Canada when we were growing up. We did not have any rights as members of LGBT community. We were not protected in our jobs.
Actually, it wasn't called LGBT.
No, it wasn't.
In those days.
It was called fucking faggots. But it's pardon the language, but that's what we had to listen to all the time. Gay people were seen as weird. And I am going to talk about gay experience. And sorry to the lesbians and the non-binaries and the transgendered people. I can't tell their story because I don't live it. I didn't live it. So I'm not going to be so pretentious as to think that I can put everybody under the umbrella, because there's not. like that. I'm just going to talk about our own
Just our own
experiences.
personal
So
experience.
this is just what we went through. Okay. So let's see. Where does it all begin? Well, first of all, coming out is not a one-off. You spend the rest of your life coming out.
Yeah, it takes a long, it's a big, long, for us anyway, it was a big, long process.
It's not over.
It starts off that you have to come out to yourself, which means that you have to accept that this is what you are.
Yeah. That's the most horrendous part of coming out, because it is now a mindset and a lifestyle, not a lifestyle. I hate lifestyle. It is a life-changing event because you are being true to yourself. I grew up living a lie. I grew up thinking that what's wrong with me, and I don't think I'm unique in that. Lots of gay people feel the same way because society says we are not the same as everybody else. They'll even go as far to say in certain segments of society that we are mentally deranged, that we are pedophiles, that we're perverts, that we should be wiped off the face of the planet, or they can help us by doing conversion therapy and
Or you're an abomination.
they can pray the gay out of us. An abomination. Yeah, we have a story about abomination. Remind me about that one. We've got religion against us. Now I'm going back to the 1960s, the 1970s when I was a kid. Everything you did said you should not be gay. There was something wrong with you. So you certainly did not say.
Yeah, like, I mean, when I grew up, I knew I felt a certain way, and I didn't want that to be that way.
Yeah. And Laura says it was, you asked about your folks. Yeah, we're coming to that because that's all part of the story. Okay. So, anyways, nobody would choose to be gay in those days as if it was a choice. It's not a choice. And I'm sure most of you realize that. It's not a choice because who would choose to be a second-class citizen, to be ostracized, to be put down, to be yelled, hurled insults at, to be beaten up physically, emotionally, mentally, every which way in the whole bit. So basically, teenage years were hell. And a few years ago, there was a movement out there saying it gets better. And what they were basically saying was to kids going in high school who were gay or lesbian or whatever, just keep your head down, stay out of controversy, and once you get out of high school, it gets better. It gets better out there. And that was a horrible thing to tell kids. I was so against that campaign because no, it doesn't get better. It's just different people. That's all. A different situation. High school is horrible for most kids. Kids are horrible. They absolutely are. I know, I taught them. You know, they need to be beaten. But I might be joking. Yeah. So, think about a poor kid going through school at our time in the 70s. Yeah. No.
I knew a couple of kids that I thought maybe were gay when I was in high school, and both of them committed suicide.
Yep.
Because of that.
Yep. Lots of things. Or they get taken to the psychiatrist or whatever, or they get put away because their parents.
We talked to a guy a long time ago that went through conversion therapy.
Mm-hmm. Didn't stick.
And that didn't work. So.
But it screwed him up.
Yeah.
And on top of it all, his father was a minister. So he was doubly screwed. So, basically what I'm saying is to come out to yourself. You don't even want to admit to yourself that you are gay at that point in time because you feel bad about yourself. You don't want to be ostracized. You want to fit in. So, high school was hell, but I did everything I possibly could not to be gay. Okay? I had girlfriends. Well, girlfriend, sort of. A couple. That didn't work out very well.
I dated a couple of women.
Yeah.
Girls at the time.
Because in your mind you're thinking, well, no, wait, if I meet the right girl, this will all go away. These other feelings will just go away. No, it doesn't. And you probably know that deep down in your heart, but you're grasping at straws for anything that will allow you to be mainstream, not have to put up with, what people do to you with that. So got out of high school, went to university. Now, you would think in university, you're away from home. Now you can explore your identity. No, 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 no. Because when I went to university, uh, there was something called the Homophile Society. That's what they called it in the 70s. It wasn't called gay. The gay society or whatever. It was called homophile. There's a term, right? But I wasn't darkening the doors of any of their meetings because I was going to be a teacher. I was getting my degree towards being a teacher. You didn't want that following you around because you couldn't be a teacher if you were gay, openly gay. Um, it was grounds for being fired immediately if anybody found out. So I went through university, I went through teachers college. I was still hiding it. I dated a couple of girls in university. Didn't work out. No, they were okay. Nothing wrong with them, with those girls. They were lovely people and the whole bit. But I just couldn't step over the line, the difference between being a friend and then having them as a girlfriend. It didn't work. It really upset me a lot to even try for that kind of thing. So then I got teaching job. And of course, what I just said, if they had known that I had gay tendencies, I was still trying to suppress it. Um, I would be fired because they immediately consider you a pedophile. And I'm working with children, even if there are high school kids. I dated a girl in that. This is before I ever met Walter. Again, thinking I liked her. I met her at a party that another friend of mine had. It was a Halloween party. We ended up spending most of the night talking about different things. In fact, I think at that point in the night we'd planned how many children we were going to have and whatnot. She was a teacher as well. She was a math teacher. Very smart lady, attractive, a very nice person, a really nice person. I will never say anything bad about her because there is nothing bad to say about her. We dated, but things just weren't right for me. And it was causing me a lot of internal strife. A lot. So I broke it off. And I didn't tell her the real reason, though. And we were at that point talking about the possibility of getting engaged and getting married. My parents absolutely thought she was wonderful. She even started going to our church. She was not, I think she actually was Ukrainian background. Her father was anyways. I don't know if her mother was too, but I don't know if they ever darkened the doors of a church or not. But she decided that every Sunday she would go to church. Now, I sang in the choir at the church, and so did my parents. So we sat up at the front of the church. She sat by herself in a pew, kind of a thing, there. So I mean, there's, the kind of person she was, right? She was really trying to be involved with my family and the whole bit. But I broke it off with her. That was not a good breakup. And about 3 weeks after that I broke off with her, I was in a shopping center, our local shopping center here, and I'm walking down the hallway, and there she was, and our eyes met, and she started to cry right there. And I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? So we came back to my place, and long story short, I had to tell her. And at the moment that I told her was the first time I had ever used the word gay to refer to myself, to actually say it out loud. And that was the moment when I came out. I came out to myself. I came out to her. You know what she said to me? I can change that. No, she can't. And you want to know something? This is something that a lot of women will say to men that they care about, that they're involved with in a relationship when they find out. I can fix that. Nobody can fix it because you're not broken. It's to say that you're not right. When someone says, oh, I can fix that, that means they figure you're broken. I wasn't broken. Okay. I know that now. At the time, I thought I was, but I know that now. Anyways, we went our merry ways. Well, not so merry. And ironically, she met another guy with the same first name as me, married him, eventually had children with him. And last I heard, I have never seen her since that time. Again, my mother had, ironically, something that my mother was at, but she did well. She has a good relationship, and I guess now she's probably a grandmother out of all of that. So I was happy about that. But the reason that I came out to myself was, as I said to her, I have no idea what the future brings me as a gay man, and it scares me. But I know one thing. If I wreck a life, it's my own life. I'm not taking two of us down. I am not going to put something on you that is going to make your life horrible. I can handle it if it's mine. It's my life. I only have myself to blame. I just can't take responsibility for it for someone else to do that to them. And I know something. There are people we know who were married for a long time, have children, and then decided at some point later in their life that nope, they were gay. And they wrecked a lot of lives. There's no such thing as a good breakup. Even if some people say, well, yeah, it was an amiable breakup. She took it really well when I told her I was gay and the kids were okay with that. No, they weren't. They were not okay. They put up a brave front. And I didn't want to be one of those people with it because that only brings heartache to yourself and to the people that you love as well. At least in my opinion and in my experience. So that's when I came out. Wow. When you come out like that, then you don't know what to do with yourself. Because a big weight has just come off your shoulders because you've admitted to yourself you know who you are. Now, what are you going to do about it? And, well, that's a story for another day. But there are different stages of coming out. That was coming out to myself. But I still had a whole bunch of people I worked with that did not know I was gay. I was still living the lie. I was going to gay bars on weekends in Toronto. And on a Monday morning, you come back into school and your colleagues say to you, so what was your weekend like? What did you do? And not much, just went out. Well, who did you go out with? Just friends. Friends. These were always people without any names, Oh, where'd you go? Oh, we just went into Toronto, did some bar hopping. Oh, which bars did you go to? You're trying to get them away from asking you these questions because every question they ask, the more you have to lie. Because I couldn't turn around and say the name of some of the bars I went to because they were gay bars. And I didn't know whether they would know they were gay bars or not, but I didn't want to take the chance. Remember, I could still be fired. And even though these people were great people that I worked with and they were more than just colleagues, they were friends as well, became friends. No way could I come out at that point in time. And then I met Walter. And they met Walter at various functions that went to. Walter would come to. But we still lived the lie. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're good friends. It's my friend Walter. Kind of a deal. Then we bought a house together, our first house. Okay, now we're 30 years old. Okay. Telling people that you're roommates at 30 in a house that you both bought together, I would think, at least I thought at the time, people would get the idea like, okay, they're probably gay. But we always covered it up saying, well, yeah, we decided right now the housing market, it's a good time to buy. It's an investment. And, eventually when we go off our own way, i.e., get married or something, somebody will, we'll have an asset we can split up and that will give us a good start on a new home with whoever. And that was what we used to tell people all the time. Now, people came over to our house because we had some parties there and whatnot. People that were straight people we work with. They would probably never figure it out in the way our house was decorated that we might be gay because...
But you had already come out to your parents by that point, right?
Yes. At that
And I
point,
think that's what one of the
yeah,
questions
well, I was
were.
getting to that. But anyways, we did have two separate bedrooms in the house. That's what we told people. That's Walter's, that's mine. All that kind of stuff. So that we were still living a lie. My parents, um, I had an incident with my parents that just opened up a whole well of problems. This was after I'd broken off with my this other lady and everything. And anyways, it came to a head where I basically the only way that I could explain my behavior, what was going on, was I had to tell them. So I went over to my parents' place and I said, okay, I have something to tell you. Now, before I went, I had armed myself with lots of literature. I read all kinds of books, coming out to your parents, what to do when you find out your son or daughter is gay. There was a whole ream of them. And my mother was a reader in those days. So I brought the books with me. I had read them, thought maybe she'd want to read them. So I brought them with me. And so I finally said, okay, I am gay. Silence. You could have heard a pen drop. Now, I kind of went in figuring that my mother at least had already figured it out. She hadn't. It was an absolute surprise to both of them. Now, they'd already knew Walter. They'd met him. And at that point in time, we were living in the house together.
No, we weren't. You
Were
were
we?
still in the apartment.
Oh, we had just, yeah, we had just bought the house. We weren't in it yet. That's
I
right.
don't think we had even gotten as far as
Yeah.
buying the house.
Oh, I
No.
think we had. I
No,
thought
no,
we had.
because that was that time when you told your brother
Oh,
in the car,
yeah, right.
and that was after that we had known each other, and we were at that cottage, and that's when you had that falling out,
Yes, yes.
and then yeah,
Yeah,
so
okay.
no, you were in an apartment. We were had not gotten to the
No,
point
the
of
point
doing
of
the
the
house.
house.
Yeah,
But they knew you
yeah.
around. And yes, and come to think of it, my brother already knew, and my sister did too.
No, your sister didn't.
Or she didn't know yet?
No, your sister didn't know until that weekend in Peterborough and
I
that
thought
was
that happened.
after your brother knew,
Oh,
but it might have been I don't know if it was before your parents or after your parents. I can't remember.
I don't know. Anyways, I figured in my family there aren't any real secrets, so I figured my brother had already told my parents and everything. Well, he hadn't. He hadn't said a word about it. Um, so anyways, my mother started to cry. Well, I was so young, she said, when I had you, we didn't really know what we were doing. I said, Mom, it's not your fault. It's nobody's fault. I'm just born this way, like that was before Lady Gaga had the song. And my dad says, well, maybe you could get some therapy or something for it. Now, Dad, I said, therapy's not going to change me. It's who I am. Now, they didn't disown me. There wasn't a whole lot of calling me names or anything like that. But it was, well,
It was a little uncomfortable.
it was
for a while.
uncomfortable for quite a while. It took them about 10 years and actually, I say it took them 10 years, but when I look back on hindsight now, I don't think they ever fully came to terms with it. My mother was worried at the time. It was the 80s. She was worried about AIDS. She'd heard all the myths and everything like that. And says, Mom, nothing to worry about there. Don't listen to what you're hearing on the news. They have it all wrong on that. Just, it's okay. I mean, I wasn't going to get into nitty gritty details about that kind of thing with them, but just to let her know, no, Mom, nothing to worry about. I'm fine. And all that. And I said to him, you haven't learned anything different. I'm the same person I've always been. This is just one little aspect of my life you didn't know. But I said, you like Walter, don't you? You've met him. Oh yeah, Walter's great. We love him. He's great. Well, you see, I'm not with anybody strange to you, kind of a thing. But it took them a good 10 years before they were comfortable enough to tell other people that they had a gay son. But they weren't always totally comfortable with it. And it was very apparent when we got married because they were invited to the wedding, of course. And, oh, you've never seen two people who didn't seem to be happy about it. Guess that was the limit. They didn't say anything. They never did. Well, they knew there was no point because I'm my own person And, you know, it's their problem if they have a problem with it. But yeah. So we still are coming out. When we meet somebody for the first time that has never met us before, we're better now. But we don't just immediately come, hi, we're gay. No, like I said about labels, it's just something, one part of us. We don't introduce ourselves as gay people. Most people pretty much figure it out by now when we meet them for the first time, especially in this day and age.
I mean, we don't really hide it, but we
No,
don't really come out and say right to somebody's face that we are. So,
no. And the other thing too is, often, usually when if I'm somebody I know but Walter doesn't, I introduce Walter. I say, and this is my husband Walter. And people get it when you say that, right? And people just don't have a reaction anymore. Well, everybody knows it politically incorrect to say the least. Do it, but most people now don't care. At least in this country, yeah, big deal. Haha, you know, my sister-in-law's a lesbian.
and if they
Okay.
do care, we don't want to be friends with them anyway.
Yeah, if they're going to make a big stink about it or something like that, then screw you. We don't care. So basically, that's coming out. And to answer your question about my parents were never 100% comfortable with it, but they lived with it.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I grew up similar to Steve, and you know, I dated women. I'm gonna keep it short because it's thing. Dated women, and I dated women. I kept a low profile at work, and I dated a couple of women early in my 20s and that, and then it got to the point where I didn't want to date women, and then I started looking around for somebody that was like me, and I found Steve. So, and
Nothing like you.
and so even but that point in time, I still hadn't really said anything to my parents, and actually, I didn't really come out to my parents until after we were in our first house, and actually after my father passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And after my father passed away, I don't think my dad would have had too much of a problem because my dad was actually a pretty open-minded guy. But
He was.
yeah, actually, he was. He was pretty.
Your father used to scare the bejesus out of me.
But in some ways, I'm sorry I didn't come out when he was still alive. But by the time I was going through that process of coming out and everything, he had just been diagnosed with lung cancer, and I didn't want to add to that burden to him when that was happening. I was more consumed with the fact that he had lung cancer than trying to figure that stuff out. And so it was until after a little bit after my dad passed away that I came out to my mom. And my mom's sort of response was, "What do you think? I was stupid or something?" Well, we had already bought a house together, so. And I said, no, I didn't. And then she still didn't accept it very well. She turned around and said, um, she would see, I never really thought myself to be very flamboyant or gay looking or whatever, you know, when you see flamboyant type people on TV. So my mother turned around and said, would somebody somewhat flamboyant on TV would come out and say that he was gay, and we'd be watching a show and she'd say, well, you can tell he's gay, but why are you gay? She can figure that out. So anyway, so I had to explain more stuff to her, and so it took a little while. It took a little while for my sister, my closest sister, to accept it. She didn't like the fact that I was gay, but actually what ended up happening, she had two kids, and her two kids basically didn't have a problem with
Yeah.
it. So
What's
they
the
said, well,
generation?
why are you having a problem with it? And my sister's fine now. Like, she's say, if I run into her somewhere and I'm with Steve and she sees another person, she goes, she'll introduce them that this is my brother Walter and his husband Steve, which
Yeah, well,
years ago she probably would never have done that.
yeah. Now, if it had been your older sister, who's
Well, it's hard to say with my older sister
this
passed
is my
away.
brother Walter and his wife Stephanie.
That might have
She was
been.
a
She was my older sister Actually, she was. I think she was okay with it as well because both my sisters were at the wedding, and they were both fine. It
Yeah.
wasn't a big issue. Only my sister Margaret, who passed away in 2006, when she would get mad at me or get mad at him, she'd start
She
calling him
called me
Stephanie.
Stephanie,
But anyway, so
bitch.
but uh, um, but anyway, yeah. So I didn't have a terrible time. Like I wasn't disowned or anything like that. There was some tension
Didn't you come out
during
the
it.
same night that Ellen came out on TV?
Yeah, actually, I did to
Yeah,
my
good
mother.
timing.
Yeah, but anyway, actually, that was a good introduction. And
Oh, by
then,
the way,
yeah, and then, actually, I kept asking my mom if she wanted to go to the wedding, and my mom was sort of confined to a wheelchair, and I didn't know if she wanted to go. She had dementia, and I said, "Do you really want to go?" And I said, "You gotta let me know if you want to go." And she said, "No, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go." And the day of the wedding, I'll talk to my sister. And she goes, I want to go. And my sister said, well, it's too late to make that decision. But she turned around and told everybody in the nursing home that I was
yeah,
getting married to a guy. So,
yeah, well,
so
but yeah, so yeah, the coming out thing, I think the kids today, the young people, it's a much better environment for them. They still have all the other things that go along with being a teenager, which, teenage years. We always look back on our teenage years with a certain amount of nostalgia, but really, if we look at it realistically, it was horrible. And not just because of your sexual orientation, it's just because of being a kid at that point in time. But the kids today, I have to admire them because, you know, they're coming out at a much earlier age and they know who they are with it. Now, a lot of that is because there are support systems now built into our school systems for them. I started a GSA in my school, Gay Straight Alliance. Well, actually, it was the thing. Every school was supposed to have a GSA at the time, and we were at a staff meeting, and the principal brings us up and says, "So we need a staff member to volunteer to take this on." And 100 heads all turned in my direction, and I went, "All right, fine. I'm the only gay in the village. What's this all about?" So I ran that, but and actually, the funny thing about the GSA was we only had a couple of kids that were actually gay. Most of them were straight. They were allies, but it was a good group. I enjoyed working with that group of kids because they were really out there. They weren't going to take any kind of crap about it. They were supporting the gay community, and you know, and I mean probably in certain parts of the world or even in certain pockets of of our country, of the states, and
I mean,
that
there's still
there's
a lot of
probably a lot of redneck.
cultures that don't accept it. Like I
Well, there
know,
are the ones that'll kill you.
although there's a lot of countries in the Caribbean that do not accept it, and those kids get ostracized. There's
Or worse.
Middle Eastern countries, a lot of them don't accept it, and they'll kill people for it.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of other countries in the world that are not very friendly to
And thank
us.
goodness we live where we live with that. Um, it's shaping, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And that's the reason why every year we have the pride parades, because that is basically what they are. They're showing that, there's nothing wrong with being who you are, and there are support systems for that, and nobody needs to resort to suicide or drugs or conversion therapy or anything else like that, because you're in a supportive community. There are people there, and yes, you'll always meet an asshole.
You always meet somebody that doesn't like you for who you are or whatever, and it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's racial, sometimes it's
Sexual
sexual orientation
orientation,
or something like that.
whatever.
There's always idiots out
Yeah.
there that can't expand their mind beyond their own situation. So, um, I
Yeah.
mean, as long as they don't try and beat me down with a baseball bat, I
Yeah.
mean, they can exist for all they want if that's what they want to be. So,
Yeah. So I mean, and also I want to say too, Um, the whole coming out process as well is an individual process. You should never ever force someone to come out. The worst thing you can do for somebody, and you might think you're doing them a favor. You're helping them out because they're struggling, and you're trying to do it because you want them to know that there are people here that are supporting them. Do never force somebody to come out. And you know, by saying, "Oh yeah, this is my friend." Well, you're gay. He's gay, or and we've seen that happen, and that can be very devastating for somebody because everybody comes out under their own terms and at their own time, and it isn't up to anybody else to do that for them. It has to be an individual choice for that kind of thing. You can do a lot more harm when you think you're helping somebody
Yeah,
by
like
doing
when I
that.
said about my sister had a lot of problems. She had a lot of relationship problems in her life. She had a very difficult personality.
She was a bitch.
She had a very difficult personality, especially as she got older. And if something wasn't going right in her life, she liked to take it out on other people. So that um, the situation about calling Steve Stephanie or whatever, that she just was angry and
She was an angry bitch.
and thing. It's not that she didn't accept my lifestyle or anything like that. She wasn't get she when she didn't get things that went her own way, she would get nasty.
And that's another thing. You use the word accept, and you hear this aware. It isn't up to anybody out there to have to accept anybody else's sexual orientation or tolerate it. It isn't up to somebody else for that. We don't accept, say the person's straight, oh, well, we accept the fact you're straight. No, we live with it. There's doesn't need to be any kind of declaration here
No.
of it.
Well, actually, that's true. Like, I mean, whether my sister accepted me or not, she wasn't going to change who I was. So,
Well, to say the word acceptance means there's a hierarchy.
yeah.
That means that the person who's doing the accepting is higher than you, that they are, okay, well, very good for you. That's okay, dear. No, no. So, if someone ever says to me, well, we accept the fact that you're gay, and I go, excuse me? It isn't, acceptance has nothing to do with it.
I don't accept you. They're straight.
Yeah, yeah. What was the thing is that, well, how did you know you were gay? How did you know you're straight?
Yeah, like I had a guy I used to talk to at work all the time, and
Hi, Deborah.
he knew I was gay, and he said, well, if you've never been with a woman, how do you know if you're gay? And I said, well, how do you know if you're straight if you've never been with a man?
Yeah. That usually shuts them up. Yep.
Yeah, like he sort of turned red when that happened.
So let's see. There's been some comments here as we've been blabbing on. So let's just back up here and see what people are asking or saying. Just.
Okay, you got your friend sitting up. That we saw that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Laura says, "Oh wow, suicide and conversion therapy. That's serious and quite sad." Yes, but it is still legal in some parts of the world. In the United States, it's a state by state thing, whether it's legal or not.
Yeah, I actually was researching someone, I can't remember the name right now, and found they have a psychological practice that services the gay community, and in their profile, they don't say conversion therapy, but they say everybody's minds can be changed or can change their viewpoints and stuff like that. So to me, that's conversion therapy.
Yeah, well, that's what this guy was all about. You could tell that. And so I just put lost my train here. Jeannie says, my friend who was put through conversion therapy continues to experience serious episodes of depression. Yeah, it is a major mind-bending in a negative way thing for people who go through that, because the stuff they do to you, depending on we're day and age, I don't think in the conversion therapy they do this now, but they might as well because it's just as bad. They used electroshock therapy. They would put people in laboratories, guys. They would hook them up to electrical equipment, and they would show them a series of pictures. And when they showed them a picture of an attractive man, they'd zap them. They'd show them a picture of a woman, they wouldn't zap them. And it's sort of like Pavlov's dogs, you know, when the dogs hear the bells, they're conditioned to drool because they think they're getting food. Well, this was what they one of the forms of conversion therapy in the 50s and into the 60s and stuff. Now, it is usually conversion therapy is also associated with extreme right Christians who, you know, thump the Bible at them, come to Jesus, he will save you from your sin. It is not a sin. And, you know, the whole religion thing, too, is if, according to Christian theology in the Bible, which is part of that, if we have all been made in the image of the Lord, and if God doesn't make mistakes, then I guess he made me. So are you saying God was wrong? They like to bypass that part in the Bible. They pick and choose, you know, cherry pick what they want out of the Bible, take it completely out of context. I think we're all aware of that. But, you know, I grew up in not a really severely religious family, but I grew up in a time when, I went to church the whole bit. I had to get over that guilt too, because there was guilt there as well, because, you know.
Yeah, we've known people that have come from fundamentalist backgrounds, and some of them were basically their families won't talk to them.
Yep, they were
things
disowned.
like that. They were disowned, never talk to me again, type of thing. And one woman I know had, it's not funny. Her dad went after her with a shotgun, and that's in Canada, and tried to convince her not to be who she was. And
she's been screwed up ever since.
Yeah, she's been screwed up ever since. Actually, she's married to a man
now. But then she was with a long time. She was with a woman.
Yeah.
So yeah, she don't know whether she's coming or going on that. Paul says, I'm a 62-year-old registered nurse. I remember early in my career having patients that had lobotomies in the 1950s and 60s. Very sad. Yeah, because they considered it a mental illness. It was on the American psychiatric list of mental illnesses for many years. They removed it in about either the late 60s or early 70s. They took it off as a mental disease. Yeah, people do need to understand it.
Yeah, a lot of people think that coming out or doing that is something that happens. Oh yeah, one day I'm gay, and that's it. And you know, it's a really long process. It takes a long time.
Yeah, you just don't wake up one morning and go, what am I going to wear today? And I think I'm gay.
I think I finally got to a point where the last few years that I've been the most comfortable I've ever been, but it's taken me a long time to get there.
Yeah. Laura says, that's pretty cruel to be called Stephanie and ignorant. Well, you'd have to have known her. Wendy says, come on, are you always a perfect sister-in-law? I still think it was funny. Yeah. Well, it was funny, but it was the context. She wasn't trying to be funny.
My sister would phone me up, scream so loud, I'd hold the phone out to hold the phone way out. You could hear her all the way on the ground. She'd scream and scream and scream and scream, and then she'd hang up the phone. And those were the days of call display. And I would, we still do have call display. But anyway, when call display first started, and then I'd call her back, and she'd see that it was me phoning her back, and she wouldn't pick up.
Yeah. Well, she's a topic all on her own, actually.
Yeah.
She was a very different individual. And that's being nice when I say it that way. There was something here I thought about as well. You know, they're talking about, someone said about flamboyant. Oh, yeah, Laura said being flamboyant was the media stereotyping of a gay man. Yes and no. It is a stereotype, but it does exist.
Hmm.
And the ones that tend to be flamboyant, they actually do that on purpose.
Yeah, there actually is, because there's a guy I used to work with. He was very masculine at work, and then as soon as he got home, he became flamboyant.
Yeah.
Like he just, it's like he either he had felt he had to play that role as looking straight at work, and then he could do whatever he was
And
at.
I have to admit, if you get in a room full of gay men, everybody suddenly starts to get a little campy. That's the term for it, being camp. And I mean, you can camp it up with a, oh, girlfriend, Jesus, no, my God, I was just all blistered. Oh, I couldn't believe it. The sun was so hot. My God, my makeup was just running down the side of my face. Oh my God, dear. Yeah, we can do it.
You do it better than I do, so.
Well, I used to do it with the kids. I loved it with the kids. Some kid would say in the classroom something about, they'd make some kind of slur about a gay kid or that. And the kids by this time all knew, of course, I was gay or whatever. And I'd look at them and go, so we're going to redo the windows today, children. You just put your books away. We're not going to read anything about that Shakespeare. He's the fag anyways. We're just going to go up here and we're just going to put new window dressings up there. I hope you all brought your threads and your needles. And we're just going to make these just so sweet. One kid said to me one day, sir, you do that very well. And I said, I've had years of practice. Why, you jealous?
Yeah, flamboyance is international. It seems to be a trait in
Yeah.
gay men, in some gay men, but not every gay man. Like I mean,
I think it's a way to stand out.
there's lots of I think it's sometimes it comes natural to people, but there's a lots of gay men that I've known over the years that you would never ever tell that by looking
No,
at him that he's gay.
no, you can't tell with it. And people always say that women always know. They do not. I'm sorry, they do not. We do have something. It's called gaydar. It,
And we still don't always. We can get fooled too,
yeah, but usually not.
but there is some certain traits that men have that are gay that you can pick up on.
Yeah, even the ones who try so hard not to be. Well, it's like in Shakespeare and Hamlet, methinks the lady doth protest too much. Kind of a thing. But anyways, so yep, those are our coming out stories. Now somebody asked something about our wedding or how long there was it?
How long have you been married?
Yeah, how long we've been married.
Well, we've been together since what, 1983?
Yep.
Okay, and
This year 39 years.
we've been officially legally married since 2005.
I wondered if you'd remember the year. Do you remember the date?
Yeah,
What it was it?
July 15th.
Oh yes, the day after my birthday. That's why. Yeah, 2005 we got married. So we've been married 17 years this year.
Officially. But
Officially.
we've been together
But
since 1983.
yeah, we really don't count that as our anniversary. Our anniversary's in December. That's when we count our anniversary, not our wedding anniversary.
Like, I mean, we've had people argue, well, no, you can't do that because we weren't officially married then. So I said, yeah, but we couldn't get married then. So
No. So yeah, thanks, Jeannie. Um, yeah, but whatever. So flamboyance is international. I didn't know that. Oh, intentional. That's good. Well, it can be. It's not always. In fact, I think my theory, and this is my theory alone, and you're not going to find it probably in a book or anything else, but I think those guys that tend to be extremely flamboyant, they have all the gestures, they do all the stereotypical things, they wear the outlandish costumes, they're limp-wristed and talk with a lisp and all that kind of stuff and call everybody girlfriend. I think those guys have another issue. And the issue is they have low self-esteem, and for them, this is a way to make themselves visible because they feel invisible. And so they tend to put that act on. But if you do this for the majority of your life, if you've been doing this for a long time, you actually start to believe that's who you are. And it just becomes natural for you to do it. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about that. We know lots of people who, You know, they walk into a room, they suck all the oxygen out with their, you know, flamboyant attitude. Um, we just take it in stride. That's just who they are. You know,
It's not something I can really do.
no, it's not us, but I don't condemn them for it because that's who they are. That's just who they are. And most of the time they're funny too. So they, you know, add a little humor to your life as well. And, you know, laughing with them. Not
Well, the
at
only problem with that is that if they get into a situation where there's more people that don't like them in
yeah.
a situation, then they may be singled out and focused on, as opposed to somebody that's more masculine and doesn't blends in better.
Yeah. But you know, usually people who attack people that might be a little bit more flamboyant or something usually have issues themselves. They're the hyper masculine straight guys who might do that. And I think they're rare.
There are some actually people that are having problems with their own sexuality
Yeah.
that
They'll lash out.
that have are questioning themselves, not necessarily that they're gay, maybe that they're bi or something, or do have an attraction to men. Sometimes they get it's, what do you call it? I'm losing my voice. They get defensive
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
will ostracize somebody that they think is gay to try and hide the fact that they may have some sort of sexual feelings.
Yeah, well, their defensiveness becomes offensive
Yeah.
when they go for the attack, for the kill, before they, in their mind, they think they're going to be attacked. So, you know, they're preempting that.
Who's inheriting your estate? I can volunteer for all the quilting. Well, it depends which one of us goes first, and then the
Yeah, that's
other
right.
one
Gets it all, and then whoever. Yeah, actually, it is a problem. In some ways, since we do not have children, and people have asked us before, well, did you ever want children? No, God, no. Nope, did not want children at all.
I was never very maternal.
Well, it's not that I necessarily hate kids. I just, no. Well, one thing, again, we grew up in an era where gay men could not adopt. And now it's all the rage. But you want to know something? I like being a gay man. If I had children, I have responsibilities. I have to look after the little buggers, right? And somebody at our door.
Yeah, I think it's Amazon. I had a delivery today.
No. Anyways, it's you're tied down. You know that. Any of you who've had children, you know what that's all about. So maybe I'm selfish, but no, I think having children is selfish, actually. But that's a topic for another day. Ooh, that one I don't want to get into.
Yeah, you can open a whole can of worms.
Yeah, that
with
one.
this. Like, this topic can be never ending if you really want it to be.
Yeah, and yeah. Well, on that note, the Amazon guy was at the door, so to see what he's there again. Oh, he's waiting for something. Okay, you keep talking.
Yeah, I don't think it's the Amazon guy. Yeah, you can talk for days and days and days about this topic. It's just almost never ending with things, so.
Special delivery for Mr. Walter Vandergron.
Why was he standing there?
I don't know. Maybe he wanted to make sure we got it.
Oh.
He looked like he was new in the job.
Oh.
He wasn't like drop and run. Anyways, yeah. So I hope that went on a little bit. I hope that cleared up some thoughts or whatever. We don't mind talking about it. Patsy says my sister's grandson and his husband have adopted 3 children. Yep. That is a whole story for another day. And like Walter already said, it would open up a can of worms because I have some very definite opinions about that, which I know would not be popular right now. So we're not going to get into it. It's too late. In fact, yeah, I had a lot of kids when I was teaching. That might be one reason why I don't want children. Well, I'm past my childbearing years now anyway, so.
I have a niece and nephew.
Yeah, we have those. So whatever, they can go home. Well, they're all adults now anyway.
Yeah, I
So
know, and some of the nieces and nephews are still living at home. That would be good. I'd hate that.
yeah. So whatever. Deborah says, who cares as long as you're happy and good people? That's all that matters. Yep, that is all that matters. And so I think that's it for today, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for your questions, your comments, and everything. And hope to see you next week. I don't know what we're talking about next week, but we'll figure out something. And the usual videos will go out in this next week. And have a good one.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot about that. Happy Father's Day to everybody. That's father or knows one. Okay. See you all later. Say goodbye,
Yeah.
Walter.
Goodbye.